Welcome to another edition of Plug In with Avi and Kyle. We are Avi and Kyle, internet's odd couple who just happen to be your best source for everything that is anything, but not really, but kind of. Not all the time, sometimes. I guess it depends on the day.
Yes.
17 episodes.
Yes.
We're almost at 20.
Almost.
Almost. We're pretty close.
Yeah,
It's like we're
more.
almost drinking age.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're almost there. Our show can almost drink.
Yeah.
Yep. Right now, it's just going through that weird life of high
You
school.
can be almost recruited to the military.
Yeah,
very soon.
you can. Yeah. So, episode 17 today, we have our guest, Roxanne Banks.
Hi, how are you?
Welcome to the show. And
Thank you.
We'll have some tech stuff later, Avi.
Yes, couple things.
All right, well,
Yeah.
let's just get straight into this because I just want to talk to this guest. It's so terribly bad.
Yes,
Yay.
go ahead.
H, Roxanne, what's the H stand for? I got to know.
Her Highness. No, I'm just kidding. No, it actually stands for my great-grandmother's name. I was named after my great-grandmother, Harriet.
Harriet.
Yes.
Ah,
So,
okay.
but growing up as a child, Harriet was not a popular name.
Yeah.
I was called the Harry It. I was called a goat. I had a whole lot of nicknames, and I
That's
learned
mean.
how to fight because of that.
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
cute as a girl.
Yeah.
So I decided to go by my middle name, which my family always called
Well,
me by
the
my middle
Harriet
name.
name, it's from the Rosie the Riveter days. So,
Yeah.
like back in World War II,
Right.
most
Yeah,
of the
yeah.
ladies were Harriet.
Right.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I am honored to be named after my great grandmother, who actually raised my mother, who was a wonderful woman. But the name just didn't
Yeah,
quite
yeah.
fit my personality.
Yeah. And
So
it's a
yeah,
little
so we
out
went
of
with
touch the
Roxanne.
times, too.
Yeah.
That's fine. I go by my middle name, too. My
Do
first
you?
name's William.
Real? Oh, that's my brother's name. I
Yeah.
love the name William.
But I go by Kyle.
Okay.
Because my mom didn't want. We lived in Ohio.
Okay.
She didn't want people calling me Billy or Bill.
Right,
or
yeah.
Bob or whatever.
That's
you know.
true. That's true. You
You
got to
know.
watch those things.
Yeah. So we brought you in because you have this book.
Yes.
Living Single in a Married World.
Yes.
How to survive and thrive. It's not easy, but it's possible. So how did this start?
Great question, Kyle. It started with the fact that I've been single all my life, and I felt like I became an expert out of all my trauma and drama through my life. But no, seriously, about 4 or 5 years ago, it was put on my heart to start writing towards my single siblings because of the fact that so many of us struggle in our singleness because you desire marriage because we live in what we call a married world. The thing is everyone should be married with children and the little white picket fence and all that. You grow up thinking about that.
Yeah.
Yep.
And when it doesn't happen in the time in which you think it's going to happen,
Then
you start
think
to have
the
a
boat-
tough time.
You're
Yeah.
missing the boat or something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so it's put on my heart to really encourage people because I've been single for so long. I've learned how to really survive and thrive in my singleness. In fact,
Yeah.
I'm enjoying my singleness. Now, yes, I still desire marriage. So for those of you that find me cute, no, I'm just kidding.
There's Roxanne is waiting.
Miss
Yes.
Roxanne Banks.
That's right. Thank you. I have found a lot of fun in my singleness. And so I wanted to really encourage other singles not to get stuck on the fact that you're single, but really get stuck on your passion and your purpose.
Okay.
Because I really believe, part of my passion and purpose is this book.
Yeah.
And it's really to give other people an option on what they can do in their singleness. So it was really birthed out of my own pain and my own experience and just my interviewing so many people. I've interviewed over 100 men and 100 women about what they've gone through in their singleness and what do they really want out of their singleness. And it's amazing.
What
So if
does
you
it mean? Single, just not married, or they can be living together, or
the book is really addressed to unmarried people, anyone who is not
Unmarried.
legally
Okay.
married. Now, I also have had several married people read the book and have said that it's done wonders for them too, because there's a lot of information about communication and things like that in there.
They got divorced.
So
they
right,
saw
they're like,
the
oh, I
light?
want to be single now. No, but yeah. So it
Well-
really is for anyone who's legally unmarried.
Well, up to the 70s, it was the thing to be married within 20, 22, 23.
Exactly.
But now the statistic shows that almost the population is divided between the married and unmarried.
Yeah.
So I think back in the old days, it was something to worry about. But
Right.
today, it's almost the norm to be living together or dating on a long-term 5, 6,
Yeah.
7 years. So
Yeah, the culture has changed. The couple culture has changed a lot.
Sure.
And because if you think about it, it used to be younger girls,
Yeah.
arranged marriages. Then it kind of went to 20s and 30s,
Yeah.
or your early 20s,
Right.
and now it's kind of mid 20s. People are thinking, "Oh, I need to get married and have a kid," and it's getting to the point where a lot of my friends are either dating someone that they've
Or
been in a
living
relationship for
together.
a while and just living together, and they're not married, and they don't see a reason. I mean, it doesn't seem to, it seems to be losing its importance.
Actually, the statistics shows that living together it's surpassing married.
Yeah.
Even though.
Well, yeah, actually, there's really 99.6 million people who are single. So I always tell my single siblings, we're not alone.
Yeah,
there's a big
yeah.
population of us.
Yeah.
But the interesting thing is, out of that, there's a huge percentage that are in a dating relationship or living together. But the one thing I talk about a little bit in my book, and I just want to share today, is the fact that, yes, the culture has changed, that people are living together, they're doing things, but at the end of the day, people still have those
Yeah,
same emotions.
exactly.
Women still want to get married.
wanna get
Yes.
married,
Men
yeah.
still desire to have a son. You know what I mean? And those
Yeah.
different things. And so we
I
have
don't know
to really
about
come
that. You know, every wedding I go to, the girls jump on the bouquet of flowers. When the
Absolutely.
wedding and the bride tossing,
Right.
but when the guy comes to throw the girdle, the
garter.
every guy standing with his arm down like it falls in front of them.
Well,
Take it
that's
out.
That's
that has something to do with like the gender roles, really.
Exactly.
Yeah,
how
but,
they feel
but
about
they're
that.
not jumping into it like the girls would.
Yeah.
So
and that's what is what I talk about in the book a little bit is the fact that men really, if they can get away without getting married, they will. But the bottom line, I think deep down, every man does want to be in a loving relationship.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
They
of
want to
course.
feel
Of
respected.
course.
They want someone who's going to be there and have their back. They really do want that. But the image of marriage has been placed in such a way that it's either not a good thing or you don't necessarily need it. And so men will take the path of least resistance and not go ahead and do that. And
Exactly.
women have been allowing that to go on. And so I encourage my single siblings, if you really want to get married, don't settle for that. Because a man
Exactly.
will step up if you make him step
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
I have a classic example. My best friend, Michelle, she absolutely loved her man and they had a wonderful relationship, but he thought marriage was unnecessary. So she said, well, I have to cut this relationship off. And he's like, but we're great. What are you doing?
Yeah, exactly.
And she's like, no, I want marriage.
Yeah.
And she said, when you're prepared to marry me,
Yep.
we're good. But other
Well-
than that, I have nothing to say to you.
Yeah.
Well, months went by and he'd call her. She's like, I'm sorry, are you calling to ask me to marry you? And he's like, no, I just want to talk to you. She says, oh, I'm sorry, I can't talk to you.
busy.
Yeah.
Guess what? He put a ring on it. They are married now. They've been married for 13 years. They're
you
happy.
go.
They have a great relationship. And I absolutely love him.
So
She-
little leverage.
Exactly. But she wasn't doing that to make him.
Yeah,
She was
yeah.
saying, look, I love you enough to let you go.
Yeah.
Because of, I understand, maybe that's not for you,
Yeah.
but it is for me.
Yeah.
So she stood her ground. So that's why I tell
Yeah.
single women who desire marriage, stand your ground. And I question,
And don't settle.
exactly.
I mean,
don't
with
settle.
the 50% divorce rate, it's because of the settling.
Exactly.
It's
exactly.
because they're just
Yep.
there's
They-
the people who
saying
do
yes
feel
even
like
though
I
they
have
say
to be
no.
married at this
Right.
age.
Yeah.
Just jump into it.
Exactly.
And
And
realize
I
the
know we just did a wedding. I just filmed a wedding this
Mm-hmm.
weekend, and the couple have known each other for over 20 years.
Wow.
They went. He was in her, sweet 16 or
Mm-hmm.
sweet 18. They met at like this. He was a like hip hop dancer style guy.
Mm-hmm.
They met through that, and it was just like on and off for years. They knew each other and were friends, but they never kind of
Dated.
Yeah, dated,
Tied
and they
them
were
up.
always missing each other.
Yeah.
Right.
And they're in their 40s now, and they just got
Wow.
married, and
Oh, praise.
one of the happiest couples I've ever
See,
seen.
that's it.
One of the happiest. They're complete opposites,
Right.
Attitude wise or personality wise, but it
It
works.
works.
Yeah,
That's
it works.
it.
So what's your advice to all these single men and women sitting on the fence or thinking that they missed the boat? What would you tell them?
First of all, I want to say be encouraged, because if you haven't missed anything, I believe when it's your time, it's your time. And the bottom line is, don't settle for what you don't want. Make sure that you know yourself first. First of all, do a self-exploration. Like I talk in the book, you want to follow your passion and your purpose. And when you're following your passion and your purpose, you tend to meet people that are like you.
Exactly.
And so then you start to realize, wow, this person, like you were saying, the couple that's known each other for over 20 years and now just getting married. It's because of that long time relationship that they built, friendship that they built, that helped them to understand this is the type of person I need.
Yes.
A lot of times in our mind, we think we know what we want. But realistically, it's not the same thing. We want
Yeah.
the person who's going to compliment us, who is going to encourage us, who's going to be there for us, and who has the same value system that we have. So I encourage people to make sure that you are looking to find that person who encourages you and compliments you.
Yeah.
And when you're doing your passion and your purpose, you'll do that.
Yes.
You'll soon
Yes.
find that person that's going to be that compliment for you.
I think I want to go back to something you just said, which was find somebody who shares the same values. as you.
Yes, very important.
It's of the utmost importance, and it's not just then I don't feel like it's a way of saying you have to marry someone who believes in God if you don't believe in God. It's one of those things where just marry somebody who's on the same level as you, because if it comes to the point where you have a religious person married to a non-religious person,
There's
going to be a conflict there.
Absolutely.
From the outside.
There's
yeah.
going to be a conflict
Right.
there
Yeah.
eventually.
Absolutely.
Church
So-
they need to go. I
Yeah.
don't want to go. It's
Right.
Exactly.
there, yeah.
Or religion plays such a big part in everybody. Like if you're religious, it plays
Right.
a big part in your
Huge.
whole life.
Yeah.
Huge. It's a
Decisions you
very big
make
part of my life.
are based on those beliefs.
Absolutely.
And if your partner or the person you're sharing your life with doesn't believe that,
So if you're
Yes.
religious, go to Christian Mingle.
exactly. Christian Mingle, ChristianMingle.com. Well, we have about 30 seconds left before we have to go to commercial. And normally I would say goodbye to you and let you plug right now, but I want to have you back for the second
Oh,
part
I
of the
would
show.
love it.
And I want to talk some more about this because I
Absolutely.
find it really interesting, and I think our viewers would like it. And
Absolutely,
then after
I'd
that,
love
we'll get
to.
into tech talk if you
Yeah.
don't mind sticking around for that.
I'd love it.
Okay. Well, this has been Plug In with Avi and Kyle. We will be right back at the beautiful OC Digital Studio. Check them out at ocdigitalstudio.com. We'll see you when we get back from commercial break.